Imagine you're playing on Icebox and you want to go B. Now you tell me, does this sound like you're actually going to get a B plant off when you're playing against 2 Viper Mollies, 2 Sage Slows, a Sage Wall, 2 Killjoy Mollies, 2 Sova Shock Darts, and Durka just running at you? No, it doesn't really sound like it. This comp that Fnatic and G2 run a lot is a really, really good comp. It sucks on offense, I'm not going to lie, but if you know how to play the comp, play the map, it can work. And Fnatic does make it work in this series against FPX. This round that I want to show you really demonstrates how well this comp works and how well it works to its strengths. So you have Chamber and Sova playing on A. Durka, he can like push up, he can do whatever he wants. Sova can arrow for him, he can arrow off this wall or off these pillars are coming in, or break his drone for him to get him back on some angles and whatnot. Because Durka is probably one of the best duelists in the world. He's crazy, really talented person. Killjoy, she's usually playing in this boiler mid area, somewhere up in here. Her alarm bot goes here, so that if anybody tries to push through mid to A, they get caught. This turret faces under tube, faces in the kitchen. It's sitting in like the windowsill. This is so that instead of putting it on this counter, anybody who goes kitchen has to come out and extend like up into this area in order to break this turret. Versus they just had to walk up tube, break it, and they could like safely walk out. By, you know, they have to walk out and expose themselves to more angles with this turret. And then obviously it watches under tube, which is really good. Sage, she plays in kitchen just like most Sages do. She can clog up the tube with her wall. She can throw her slow robes under tube and all that stuff to stop a B split or something. But she could also help Viper. If Viper's playing solo B by herself, she's jump spotting, and then if she ever has to like run away or something, Sage can rotate over, slow for her, maybe wall off the attackers, and then Viper can get back and play for her mollies and whatnot. This is what their setup looks like. Killjoy molly, Killjoy turret, Killjoy alarm bot. Chamber bot usually goes front B in case Viper ever feels like she's getting pressured too much and she just wants to fall back, right? So in case if FPX wants to just straight up go A, or if they're like defaulting or whatever, let's say they default A and they don't show any pressure towards B, well, Fnatic never has to watch this because of that chamber bot. A lot of teams are throwing this Viper wall that I'm highlighting here. I explained this wall more in one of my past videos. I'm going to link it down below, or it should pop up on the screen or something. But this wall is so important because it blocks off sight lines from anybody trying to hold B main, so that the attackers could just like sort of walk up along this wall, and it creates pressure, right? So like if Chamber's holding from this area, he has to now worry about both sides of this wall, and it's really awkward. But with this trip, it's like, okay, who cares? They got a wall, right? Viper can go play Snowman, she can play Orange, she can molly when they come in, and it's really strong. So this is what their setup looks like. Triple Sentinel, Viper Sova. And I wanted to play this round first to start the video because this really demonstrates how well this comp works together. So FPX are going for a B take. We've tried before, got installed up previously, but they made an adjustment, and you'll see it in a second. So as you can see, we got the Killjoy molly here, and we have a Viper smoke here, which is also really good. You can't see it on the mini map, but what it does is that it blocks off this cross, but it also at the same time blocks off that default plant spot. This Killjoy molly is in the way, so it's hard for me to show you, but it covers this part of sight, so they can't plant, but it also covers this run up right here, so that you can't see this cross and you have to push into it. So not only does it hurt the planter, it also makes it harder to take the site. FPX, they're scaling up B with their Fade utility and whatnot. Slowly moving up, they got that trip there. Nobody's crossed into B main just yet. They have a Roomba, clears out yellow. Bosa takes a few shots before falling back and playing for his mollies. And he hears FPX are running in like a horde of buffalo. And now, a good way to make space is if you're ever feeling too pressured, like from Orange, or you can't really get the bomb down, a good way to alleviate this pressure is to scale up sight. Now what FPX did was they walled, and Artist tried to go for like a surprise play. He went on top of the wall and decided to swing anybody who's in this area, which this is why he saved his TPs for this moment. He waited for a Sage to wall himself up. He got a kill onto the Killjoy, playing all the way back here. Kind of overextended by not TPing out afterwards. Kind of a throw, not gonna lie. But as you can see, the Killjoy molly was going off. The Viper molly was going off. That's how Boaster was able to get that kill. Chamber was super chipped away. FPX, they kind of have to wait for this Viper smoke to go out. Otherwise, if they plant here, they're kind of screwed. They're just going to get spammed. So they're waiting this out, and because their Chamber died, Fade drops back. So she's like, okay, yeah, somebody's flanking, right? They know we're going B, so we kind of have to force the issue. Because there's not a lot of time left. 45 seconds, playing against this comp. Sage still has a wall and a slow orb, but they can't really go back to A, because if they do, they're just going to run out of time. So they're like, okay, let's make the best out of a bad situation. How can we make space on the site without dying, right? How can we back them off? Okay, well, we could try Viper ulting. Not the best idea, not gonna lie. Because with this Viper wall, they can still spam you wherever you end up planting, right? They can still spam you, can still shoot at you, they could still throw shock darts, they could still you know, spam with their phantoms and whatnot. After the Viper ulti goes down, it does back Boaster off, I'm not gonna lie. And I think Raze might have used a satchel or something to like try and back him off. But Boaster's like, okay, if you want to ulti this, I'll ulti back. So now this is just a permanent Viper smoke covering the entire default plant spot, the only decent plant spot on B. So if they actually want to end up taking or planting B, they kind of have to push through Snowman. But that's a hard read to make in this moment because they have to push through on the Viper wall without a flash. It's kind of troll. Dirk is still alive. He could be opping. You know, it's tough. So the Viper ult goes down. They're trying to like scale up sight. See, he's peeking Snowman. He's peeking around. Okay, I don't overextend. Dirk is holding the overextension, right? But he ends up dying. Trades are being made. They get the Sage res off, which is huge. But after all this is said and done, they got 15 seconds. They don't have much more time to wait. They sort of have to make a push into this Viper ult, otherwise they're going to lose the round, right? So they're pushing in. Sage is trying to get the bomb down, or someone's trying to get the bomb down. Boaster runs in knowing they don't have a lot of time. You just got to try and stop the plant. Mystic's like, okay, they're trying to plant. I'll spray. So it's like, there's so much spam on this B site. They end up losing. And they lost by like, what is it? A fraction of a second. Yeah, you see like that round was almost won by FPX, right? But like because Fnatic stalled out for so long, they weren't able to get a plant down. It's impossible. How do you expect to get a plant down against a big Viper fart cloud, 2 Killjoy mollies, 2 Viper mollies, Sova shock darts? Everybody has a phantom. You have Durka who can just get out of jail free at any time. You know, he's dangerous. You have to worry about. It's like, what do you do? Go back to A and then worry about the Viper wall plus Sage, like her utility that's probably going to be there. So playing against this comp on Icebox isn't fun. It isn't. It isn't fun at all. While it does look strong on defense, on offense, it does have its weaknesses. And that's what we're going to jump to in a second. So I'm going to take us over to the pistol round, the beginning of the game, and sort of break down their offense and how it works. So let's go there now. So like I said, this comp, really strong defense, but offense kind of sucks. Why is that? Well, it's obvious. You have to play slow. You don't have a lot of utility. And this is kind of hard to play. This is a hard style to play. How many times in a ranked game have you played with, you know, 4 teammates that actually want to play slow and work the map and be patient and not rush things? Especially when you're playing against a chamber. When you don't have a lot of utility like a KO knife, fade crawlers, it's hard to play this comp. And Fnatic is really reliant on Durka to find this opening pick. They're really reliant on this chamber to kill somebody. This is what their 4 winning rounds look like. They grouped up like so. They usually had one person's either lurking or holding space somewhere else. And the 4 of these people would, you know, work the map. So as you can see, they have the Sova arrow going here. Didn't get broken, so this allows the team to scale up pretty safely. Plus this Viper wall. And I'm pretty sure this Viper wall, when up, it allows you to scale up this left side of sight without being seen from Jenny or from any other angle as well. Maybe from pipes, I might be wrong on that. But this wall is really good for that reason. It allows you to scale up as well. And this Killjoy turret, it's facing outward, so it spots flank like this. Obviously harder to detect if you're a flanker, and it's just really good. Boaster's lurking mid. He's got the orb here. Pretty standard Viper orb. And I'm going to show you. So Durka sets up his TPs for Belt and Nest. He's starting to work his angles. Knows one's up there. Peeks, gets one. Again, one of the best duelists in the world, and that's why. But unfortunately, Fade gets a trade on the Killjoy. And now Fnatic's like, okay, they just Sage walled. We kind of have to wait this out. They're not pushed up B because this trip is still here. Boaster has most of mid. He has most of this area, so they have like most of this right now, which is okay, which is pretty good, right? So what they're waiting for is they're waiting for their Sova air to recharge and this Sage wall to break, because they know the enemy team doesn't have a lot of utility. Sage isn't going to have slows. Viper is probably playing B, probably not playing here. They haven't seen her yet. And then once the wall breaks, so look at Sova. It's not online now, not online. But as like the arrow is closer and closer to being ready, they're like, okay, let's get ready to go. Like I say, and the Sage wall. The Sage wall is about to break too. You'll see in a second. So wall is broken. They're like, we got the Sova arrow, right? So you can see that Fnatic is timing their push with the Sova arrow and the Sage wall breaking. So it all kind of like works together. So Boaster's like, okay, I'm going to start pushing my lurk even further as soon as you guys start making more noise. So they Sova arrowed on the wall. Durka's running up. He's placing his TPs and everything. And then Boaster's like, okay, this is my time to go find a timing. We killed a guy. It's time to lurk. There's a hole in the defense somewhere. It's got to be in mid. Especially, you can't just leave one person on A when all this stuff is happening. You kind of have to, Fade has to come over and help. And Boaster found a timing in mid. And the number one rule about lurking is that your teammates need to be making noise on the other side of the map in order for a lurk to work. As soon as it goes quiet, that's when the enemy team's like, okay, there's something up, right? The amount of times that I've seen people like on Haven, for example, I'll be lurking like on Cypher or Omen or something. They'll be like, oh, let Cypher or Omen find a pick. Let him find a pick. That's not how it works. You need to like sort of commit to a site, sort of, in order for a lurk to get off correctly. Because what's going to happen is, as soon as all noise is cut, they start thinking, oh boy, they found a timing somewhere. We need to be careful, right? But here, Fnatic times their lurk with their sight hit, with the Sova arrow, with all that, right? So Boaster's lurking up, he swings, Durka gets another one, and yeah, it worked really well. So this is a really beautiful round played by Fnatic. Really patient, really slow, exactly like how you have to play this comp. So let's go to the next round now. All right, so we're going over to round 4. But one thing I want to talk about before we go into this round is that Fnatic, despite not having a lot of utility, they still have some space makers on this team. The space makers being this Viper wall, like I mentioned before. I'm going to show that video should pop up. It should have popped up before, or it should pop up now if it hasn't yet, where I explain why this Viper wall that a lot of teams do is really good. Like I said, it allows you to walk up into this area, walk into this, and it makes anybody holding B have to worry about both of these sides. This wall allows you to sneak on this side, but also get ready to go on this side. And this guy needs to worry about this and this. So it's like a space maker. It sort of pushes anybody in this area kind of off, and they're kind of afraid, like, oh god, they can walk up on me, right? They have Sage's wall, which is a space maker. A lot of popular Sage walls. You can wall like this. You can wall backside like this. You can sort of wall. You can't see it here, but like you can wall it off. So like there's a sliver of the plant spot showing. This is a better angle that you can see this from. You can wall like this kind of, and leave like a little sliver so you can plant. I forget who does that wall a lot, but you could also wall top site. And then obviously on B, you can wall like this to, you know, provide space and give your team some breathing room in order to take the site. So I showed you the space makers, and obviously there's Sova's drone. I didn't mention that, but there's Sova's drone and Killjoy's turret. You're going to see Killjoy, like she'll put her turret down here, so this will peek anybody on belt or pipes, I mean, and have them, you know, push off, obviously, because they have to fight the turret and also fight the Killjoy, which is awkward. So we got the space makers down. We have Sova drone, Killjoy turret, a Viper wall, Sage wall. Not that great of pieces of utility for making space, but they're serviceable. So now, like I said, this comp works really well when you play slow, play coordinated, and take your time and play patient. That right there is kind of a throw. At the beginning of the round, FPX, they have like this A push where they eye back deep, Chamber takes the belt, jumps up here, and Mystic knows that he's up here. I'm pretty sure that he saw him as he goes up. Eye goes out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sage knows that he's up here. Now, this is a really big throw because not only does Mystic die, he's also one off of his Sage orb. So like he shouldn't be taking this peek. In all honesty, it should be Durka or Killjoy or I don't know, anybody else. Because if Mystic just gets the trade here, he can res them and then they're okay. That's fine. This is an okay duel to take. But watch here, I'll show you. So he peeks up into Artis. Artis gets out for free. But then it's like, okay, you know he's up there. Chamber wants to take that duel. That is what Chamber is for. Chamber's trying to make isolate these 1v1s. He wants you to peek into him, and you're playing right into him. If Chamber dies, it's kind of whatever, right? Chamber died, you don't have a trip kitchen, they didn't even have one in the first place. It's like, Chamber died. But when Sage dies, one off of her ult and one off of her wall, not only you lose this big space maker that you once had. You can't wall this off, can't wall this off, can't wall this off, you can't go B, you can't do a mid split as easy. It's just tough. Because now look, they know that he's up there. Why not ask for your Sova to do what he's doing now? You just drone out, and then you just push the Chamber back that way. But now because Mystic died, it's like, okay, well we can't just group up and hit a site anymore. What's our next win condition? Okay, well Durka's got an operator. Let's try and work him a pick. All right, so he's peeking site. Boaster's holding his yellow. They have a really good thing working out over here. Sage jiggles top side, almost dies because of it. A little rough. So then eventually they decide to group up over towards B and try and make something happen over on B. They have their Viper wall. That's probably why. That's like their one space maker. They can try and scale up with the Viper wall. Maybe. I don't know how to say his name. Alfir? Elf? I'll come on to call him Elf. Maybe Elf can find alert time in mid. They try to create some pressure. They break the Roomba, do whatever. They have the attention of the mid people. But Chamber all by himself is holding this entire half of the map. All like this. It's just hard to do and execute with his team comp without your Sage because you're so reliant on her wall in order to get the spike down. So this is what happens when you don't play the comp correctly. When you play too fast, you go too fast, you overpeak, and you die. I'm going to take us over to the next round now. All right, so I'm taking us over to round 8. And one space maker that I haven't talked about yet is Killjoy ult. Killjoy ult clears so much room on this map, it is ridiculous. You're going to see it in a second. They decided to go B with the Killjoy ult. And if you put it on A, it clears like all of this. There's like a little sliver over here, it doesn't cover. And on B, it just creates so much space so that you could just walk up to site nearly for free, and it's almost impossible for the defenders to molly you and stall you out, right? But now here's where the issue with the comp comes in. So they don't really know that Viper's still in this area. They don't know that she's left, right? Either they're not paying attention, it's hard to keep track of, right? The Killjoy ult's ticking down, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. This guy's still swinging around here. They don't have a KO knife. They don't have prowlers to push this guy off. This guy's able just to sit in here and just try and like die with the ulti and try and catch them off guard. But had they had another initiator or another info gatherer or something, they probably could have, you know, not died there, right? So that's like another weakness of the comp. You need to take your time, be aware of everything that's going around you. Otherwise, you're just going to lose. So as you can see, because this Killjoy ult didn't go off, it kind of just died. I mean, they got the Viper ult, but now like these guys got to make a hero play. Oh, there's this one round actually I wanted to go back to. I almost forgot. So as you can see, no utility, no second initiator to like clear out that area, to clear out yellow, to make sure nobody's there, right? Kind of sucks. Got to take your time, got to be careful, got to be cautious. So now this round, taking us to round 6 now. This is similar to the round that we just watched. Fnatic decides to go into like a 2-1-2 default. They're going to use this Viper wall, and they're going to try and get Durka like a pick. So we're going to try and take our time, work slow, work with our guns, jump spot a little bit, see if we can clear out each angle one at a time and not die. He knows that Viper's jump spotting, so he's trying to go for a kill there, which is cheeky. But you see this wall now. This wall, they're going to use it this round. Again, we don't have a KO or anybody to clear out close, so this chamber is able to play in this one and done and get out pretty safely. So Fnatic needs to take their time and actually clear their corners and expect somebody to swing or something. I don't know. This is just tough to do with only 2 people. Where if you had a KO knife, you could have knifed underneath and cleared all the close, or a Fade Eye, right? So again, it's tough, especially against the chamber who's playing in an off angle. You really need something to clear him out. Now, these guys walked away from A. Boaster tried to get a trade, try to molly somebody off and try and get a kill somewhere. But now it's a 5v3. They have Sage Res, but like now FPX knows that there's a Sage Res, right? So like they're fighting for it, and it just didn't work out. So I showed you a couple rounds where the comp shines, right? Playing together, playing slow, taking your time. I showed you when it doesn't work, right? You don't have any utility. You really need to take your time, especially when you're playing against people who know how to abuse your weaknesses. And when you don't play to the comp strengths, right? You kind of throw a little bit and overpeak. But now I'm going to show you some more rounds where the comp works on offense, and it's nice to see. So I'm going to take us there now. All right, so we're jumping over to round 10, and Fnatic, what happened was they were doing like their 2-1-2 defaults or whatever, and they kept getting knocked on their eco rounds, and it was just kind of tough for them to win rounds. So eventually they decided, yo, let's go back to what we did pistol. Let's group up, let's funnel all of us into one area and try and clear stuff out together. I think that'll work. So as you can see, Boaster's going up mid, you got that Killjoy turret, Sova arrow, front side of A is free. So they're scaling up, taking their time. They use the Sova drone. Let's start part 2 of our exec. Viper mollies, Killjoy mollies, Sage slow was in there somewhere, right? But now this orb from FPX is really good. If you don't do this in your ranked games, you should if you're a Viper player. It just makes it impossible to run through, but also makes it really awkward to plant in that spot. So as you can see, Fanatics, they're scaling in, they're taking the space. Sage walls back sight, and they finally get the plant down. That's kind of just what I wanted to show. They were able to get in, and now they have all this utility. Another strength that this combo I haven't talked about is they have Killjoy mollies, which are on the bomb. They're just not there right now. Sova shocks, Sova ulti, Killjoy ulti. You're going to see that in one of the future rounds. You have so much utility to play post plant, where it's like one of the win conditions you can use for offense, right? So they decided to plant in the middle of site here, which is a little awkward, but I think they did that to avoid this Viper smoke. And then they still play close up site. They're still ready to trade off Boaster. They're ready to, got one playing top 410. You got another guy close maze, which is Sage. And then again, you still have Killjoy and Sova who are playing back, playing for their shocks, playing for their ultis. And as you can see, when this comp groups up and they all take their time and work together, it really works out. So this is a really good post plant played out by Fnatic. They were played for their mollies. Boaster got a few. He played in a cheeky angle behind Jenny. And then, yeah, they won this round. So we're gonna go to the next round now, where essentially the same thing happens. They group up. They also have this Viper wall too over on B, so it looks like every default they've done so far. They flash that wall up and down and all that. Tries to create some B pressure to make it seem like somebody's lurking up, but as you can see, they're just going into their A hit again. It's been working, so why not? If it's not broken, don't fix it. So the Sova drone goes in. They're following the drone. This is when their exec comes in. The mollies, the slows, all that stuff you see flying in. I think our Killjoy kind of overextended. Jumps top 410. He goes kind of in front of the drone. Doesn't really need to take a peek like that. But whatever. What are you going to do? Now, Sage, I quite like this wall because it walls off that left side. And it, again, allows you to take all this map control. And they can't really funnel in just yet. The wall makes it awkward and all that. Spike goes down. And now this is that Killjoy ult that I talked about. Oh, and Killjoy got rest too. They had Sage rest. So I guess that's why he went for an over peek there. But this Killjoy ult also stalls a ton of time. Killjoy ult. They still have Sova ult. They still have, I guess they don't have mollies anymore. But again, once this comp gets on site, you're going to have a really hard time retaking. There's just so much stuff that you have to worry about between Viper orbs, Sage walls, Sova ulti, Sova shocks, Viper mollies, Killjoy mollies. So much stuff that you got to keep in mind. Killjoy ulti, like, it's a pain. It's a really pain. It's a pain. So this is what it looks like to win on offense with this team comp. With that being said, let's go to defense, the fun part. This round that I wanted to show you, where FPX is on their, their eco round. Artist peeks mid, gets a really nice shot on that Killjoy. Really nice shot. But even though they got the kill on the Killjoy, every hole is still kind of plugged. Dirk is holding still all of this space. His Trip is holding all of this space. They still have Viper mollies to deal with. They still have a Sage wall who just walled in kitchen, so they can never go kitchen ever again. The only opening, I guess, is mid, but like, even then, Sage is watching it because they don't have a Viper orb. So it's like, yeah, we killed their Killjoy. Like, oh, yeah, we killed the Killjoy. But it's like, it doesn't really do anything. So they end up trying to scale up B. Ends up now, they're like, okay, let's just back up. Create some pressure B. Back out over towards A. But again, Dirk is still here. He does a lot of chip damage onto somebody. I'll show that. He gets out, but it's like, even though they killed the Killjoy, you know, they still run him over. You still have Sage slows, Sage wall, all that to deal with, right? It's just really annoying. So, with that being said, we're going to go over to round 9 to 7. FPX, they elect to go A this round. Let's scale up A side together. So the Haunt comes in, nobody's close. Chamber's scaling up quick. He's like, yo, let's deal with some of this BS. Let's try and bait out some of this Sage wall, Sage utility early. This is right after a timeout. So they're probably saying to themselves, yo, they have a bunch of utility. We need to pick up the pace. We need to go a little faster to try and bait some of this out because we're running out of time. So Chamber scales up. They're going to wait out this Viper wall. All right, like, okay, let's wait out the Viper wall. You know, that's a really good idea. Let's wait it out. We don't have to go through it. We don't have flashes. Our only Vandal, let's, you know, let him work the map a little bit. Let's let him work the map. Sova's droning. Okay, got to dodge the drone. Oh, the Sage slow came in. Got to wait out the Sage slow. Oh, well. The wall's back up. I gotta wait the wall out. All right, we got some time to spare. You know, we could wait the wall out. Oh, Sage walled. How long does that last again? Oh, 45 seconds? Yeah, I guess we have 50 seconds to spare, so I guess we could wait that out. No. Okay, so they're like, okay, we're dipping out of here. We're gonna try and have Artists try and find a pick somewhere on A, and like, yo, let's dip back to B. But little do they know, look what they still have on B. They still have a Killjoy molly. They still have Chamber opping. They still have a Chamber slow. It's like, it's still a headache. Artists can't find a lurk through mid because this turret's watching this in kitchen. The alarm bot's still here. Watch. And it's like, okay, I'll go through mid. I'll go through mid instead. So he's sprinting through mid. The turret's going off. Killjoy's like, yo, what's this bozo doing? Kills this guy here. Finally, they get back to A, but it's like, oh, okay. Enzo kind of throws there. I don't know what he's doing going at the rope. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you hear them running up, right? Just keep your gun out and hold them. But like I said, you're not going to lurk against this team. You're not going to... You can't even go quick. They tried. Like, what are you going to do? Push the Sage wall into 3 people? Like, or the Viper wall? Like, it's really tough. It's tough to play against this comp. It's just another round showing how strong this defense is. They have all their holes covered, and Angel almost wins that round. But all their holes are covered. You ain't lurking. They got everything covered. So let's go to the next round now. All right, so I'm taking us over to our last round of the match I want to show. Because I think you guys sort of get now how this comp works. But as you can see, FPX, they're like, yo, try and go towards B again. So they're scaling up. They use their Fade Eye. They use their Brawlers. They're getting up all the way towards yellow. But as soon as that trip goes off, they're going to activate that smoke. So the Roomba comes in, heard the Roomba, heard the Fade Eye. Okay, smoke goes up. Molly comes in. Can't plant. Stall. It cannot go any further past that line. It's impossible. So they're like, okay, so you made a bunch of pressure B, probably drew over some rotates. Let's go back to A now. Well, it's like, okay, I mean, they can still go back to A, but again, turret has all this. Right now, they have like all this map control. They still have the entirety of the map. They still have the entire map. Well, it looks like FPX just kind of started the retake. I mean, yeah, Chambers looked up in a position, but like he's looked up this far, but it's like it's not gonna do much. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that he's gonna find a timing anywhere, right? Because they're all playing for their mollies too, right? But they also have a Killjoy ulti, so they're gonna wait for the Sage Wall to go down, right? If they do go B, and they're gonna just put their Killjoy ulti somewhere in this spot so they could just play the retake, right? That's why they're playing this far back. So it's like, yeah, Artist is there trying to find the lurk timing, but it's like you have to push so far into their spawn to the point where you're almost throwing. But again, they haven't cleared out Durka. He's still holding all this space. So again, if you're not careful, so that goes off, and Durka jumps up, gets one and gets out. That's the beauty of Chamber. So now they know they're going A because the drone just cleared all this out. They know nobody else is here. This Fade ulti comes in, so it's a pretty telltale sign that they're going A, right? But the Sage Slow comes in, the Viper Wall's still up, Sova Arrow comes out. It's like all this utility that they haven't baited out is still here. Then you have a Sova ulti, and the Sova ulti's nuts because they can only come up 2 lanes. They can go up here, or they can go up this way. So it's like if you don't... it's just really big round. Really, really good ulti too. But they were pushing through Sage Walls, taking a buttload of damage. And now it's a 4v1, and then they just lose. It is what it is. So yeah, this comp is it's a lot of fun to pull. A lot of fun to play against. Or no, it's a lot of fun to play, not play against, because this looks like hell. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Yeah, and you don't have time to get the bomb down. So if you're looking to run an Icebox comp, that's a little out of the ordinary and will tilt your opponents to no end. But this is the one to run. But you need to know how to play offense, because if you can't stomach the offense and play it out and grit and grind it out, then it's just not worth playing. But if you can play slow, play disciplined, play patient, you know, play your X's and O's correctly and be, you know, played slow, play patient, you'll win. So with that being said, I hope you guys learned something from this. I know I did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.